Last week on Sailing Bagheera, after 7 months sailing, we finally reached the Whitsundays. This week we start at the southern end of Shore Island and then move to the north end of Shore Island, where we go for a walk across what's known as the Neck.
So we got a nice video of Tim's butt and Tim and Murray trying to fix the auto helm.
Today's a bad day to be doing anything. You can't sail today, it's far too windy. It's actually been raining most of the day, on and off. So we're stuck here on Shore Island. And so we have to fill in our time. So on days like this, it becomes a cleaning day. So I am polishing the stainless steel. Cheryl is cleaning the inside of the boat and making new covers for the hatch screens.
Just leaving Shore Island this morning on our way to Whitehaven Beach, one of the most famous beaches in Australia. Lucky the sun's out today. It was pretty dismal, rainy day yesterday, so looking forward to a bit of sun and beautiful white sand. Murray's got a sail up already. Winds are pretty high today, so
comfortable sailing. 16-17 knots of breeze. No chop to speak of, nice, relatively calm seas, and sailing's good at this time.
how fast are we going?
I reckon about 7 knots.
Swell's just dropped a little bit. Now as we're coming into the entry towards Whitehaven. Still pretty high but settled a little bit. Anyway, I'm pretty glad we're here because that was probably one of the most stressful sails I've had. I do not like it when the swell is really high like that because I always worry that we're going to tip over. But anyway, much safer and calmer in here, as you can see. Still a yacht behind us coming in, and he's going to be having a bit of a rough time too, I'd say. But anyway, we're in. Much more my style.
Doing this. Pressing for the catch. Yeah, beautiful.
View from Whitehaven, look out. Would have liked a sunnier day, but Whitsunday Island, all here. Chance Bay. As it was a bit windy and exposed over at Whitehaven, we've just come across the opposite side to Sawmill Beach, which has about 10 public reef walks to walk up to. We've grabbed one of those. It's rather nice over this side as well. It's a little bit less exposed and not so much swell.
As Tim and Deb from Karanga were coming into moor at Sawmill Beach, their drive shaft to the prop snapped. So now they have to leave us and head off to Mackay to get that repaired. While they're gone, we continue our adventure, starting by going to Cid Harbour.
Whitehaven Beach to Hamilton Island just to try to get out of this wild weather. Some pretty high winds predicted for tomorrow. Bad enough today, but anyway. So we're just going past entry to Hamilton Island where the resorts are. We can see this amazing lookout right up the top of the hill. The resort. Apparently Hamilton Island's closed until July, I believe, or end of June, so shame for them. Shame we can't stop and have a look, but sure we'll find somewhere. We're going to head round to Cid Harbour, hopefully a bit more protected around there for a couple of days. Looking nice and protected in here, just coming into Hunt Passage, takes us into Cid Harbour. Reminds me a bit of New Zealand. Who'd have thought we were in tropical Queensland? Anyway, cake and coffee time.
Doing it tough.
Yeah, with my new coffee machine. Just thinking how nice it might be to have a swim over there in the little alcove of rocks, but just remembered as we came through there was signs in the water saying dangerous, do not swim. I've heard there's lots of shark attacks here, so shame about that, because it just looks amazing. This is Cid Harbour. And under the boat. Oh, yeah, I got it.
Shark.
Oh! Shark. What are you
Little black tip.
What are you going to do with it?
I don't want it.
After a pretty boisterous and windy day getting here, this is the calm of Cid Harbour. It was still windy when we arrived, but the wind's dropped down now. And what a beautiful evening. The water here is very green and very murky, so you actually can't see very deep in there. We realised last night there was a lot of fish under here, including sharks. And there's signs everywhere saying do not swim. But how nice does this little rocky area look if you could swim? went out.
Cheryl and I decided to go to a walk to the lookout. 2.5 kilometres the walk says. What they don't tell you is that it's vertical, virtually straight up. Sometimes when you're walking in nature, you get to see some wildlife. Cheryl and I are originally from New Zealand where there are no snakes. If we see a snake, we think they're all poisonous.
Quick! Go past quickly.
I'm not going past while it's facing me.
Cheryl nearly stood on that snake. It was in the path as we walked up here. It's at the face. Yeah. It's gone now. Look quick.
Not sure what either of those two snakes were, but we cautiously avoided both of them. We finally made it to the top and discovered 2 other walking groups had also made the trek. The view from the top was pretty spectacular. You could see all of Whitsunday Island and neighbouring islands, so you got a good perspective of where you are. If you went on the other side of the peak, you could see to Hamilton Island. At the bottom of the walk, we see some more exotic Australian wildlife.
Okay, so don't go any closer. It's looking at me. So we're in Cid Harbour and this is the first time we've seen any police or MSQ coming past at all. Guess they're just checking we're all behaving.
After yesterday's walk, Cheryl and I are looking forward to a nice easy walk to Dugong Beach. This particular trek is meant to be quite easy. Alright, Cheryl and I have come for a walk to Dugong Beach. So far, no dugongs. But compared to yesterday, it was actually a pretty pleasant walk.
Don't think I'll be swimming.
Getting back from Dugong Beach and starting to rain. I'm sure Cheryl thought this was a good idea at the time. Not so sure she agrees now.
Mary's not impressed that I wanted to go for a walk and it's teeming down now, so this is the glamour of boating.
Get out while you can.
On Saturday we met a lovely young couple and their 2 girls at the top of Whitsunday Peak, and we happened to be chatting about provisions and mentioned that we were down to our last mandarin and a couple of apples. So just to show you how nice the boating community is, they called us over on our way back in the pouring rain yesterday and handed over their fruit and apples that were left over. They're returning into Early Beach today. So thanks very much to the lovely people on Regina, part of the Whitsunday Escape fleet.
In this week's episode of how to get started with this lifestyle, we decided to look at budgets. Basically, how are you going to live? What sort of lifestyle do you want? Cheryl and I, we made the choice that to us we're going to do this as frugally as possible. And obviously our income is the determining factor in that. We wanted to get away as quickly as possible and not wait for another 10 years we could practically afford to do it. We wanted to do it while we could still enjoy it.
Yeah, Murray and I both had some health issues in the past, and we realised that life is short and take every opportunity, so we might go into that another time. But for now we're here and we're glad we're doing it now, because I think in 10 years time we would probably be struggling a bit more with physically managing everything. But anyway, back to the budget.
Okay, we made choices when we decided to do this. The first choice is not to go into many marinas as possible. We are forced into marinas when we have mechanical breakdowns, or sometimes when we have to go and do some shopping. That's not always the case. Some people have a better lifestyle than us, and they do go into marinas and they eat out a lot, but that's not us.
Yeah, eating out's a little bit of a treat for us, and we really probably try not to do it as infrequently as possible. So we do have a budget for that, and it's pretty pathetic. Some people may not be able to live on that budget, so these are all the things you need to think about beforehand. Can you live without takeaways and without eating out, without buying coffees all the time? Because they really add up. So we do have a bit of a spreadsheet where we've kept an idea of our budget, so if you are interested, you can message us and we can send it to you. We've looked at budgets before we started. Some were astronomical amounts that people were having for eating out and for food, so it's really about trying to work out what works for you, I guess.
So far we've managed to stick to our budget as far as food and our necessities and things like that have been, but the thing that blows our budget is basically boat expenses, and that's a pretty broad category, but it includes mechanics and electricians and all the things that I can't do. If someone is handier, they obviously can do those things themselves, but I'm still learning those sort of tricks, those sort of trades. So to us it's an expensive start for us, but it's a learning thing, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe if you could do like a diesel course or something beforehand and learn how to do your own oil changes, things like that. That's a good starting point for that too.
Excellent starting point.
Anyway, that's probably enough for this week.
Yes, we'll carry on these little episodes, and if you have any topics you want us to cover, send us a message on our YouTube channel and we'll respond to you as soon as possible. And that's where we'll leave this week's episode. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.